Good evening. Random crits have always been a punching bag in the Team Fortress 2 community. Even in the early days of the game, people complained about them extensively. The catchphrase, "random crits are fair and balanced," said in jest, was coined at least a decade ago. To this day, it still occasionally manifests in chat when someone dies to a Crockett. Random crits aren't just the butt of jokes, though. They're genuinely detested. The tag "no crits" is incredibly popular on community-hosted servers, and it's seen as the standard for competitive play. On top of that, plenty of popular figures have done videos detailing their hatred of the mechanic. Indeed, it seems that even among superfans who say they adore the game, the random crit system is universally despised. And for some valuable reasons. Anyone who's played TF2 for a fair amount of time knows the hurt of getting taken out by a shot that, if not for RNG, would have been non-lethal. In a lot of cases, the mechanic can feel downright unfair. Being in the radius of a crit explosive is often an immediate death sentence for light classes, and I shouldn't have to explain why dying in the blink of an eye can be pretty irksome. However, I think a lot of players let their anger lead them to some questionable conclusions about the mechanic. Many write that the game would be objectively superior without them, that they bring nothing to the table. But I don't think so. Today I want to walk you through some ways that I think random crits benefit Team Fortress 2. And there's more than you might expect. Let's begin. Crits break up gameplay monotony. Random crits are spontaneous. It's in the name. If a game is getting too predictable and boring, say one team is absolutely bulldozing the other, a well-placed random crit can alter the flow of gameplay. It might even give the match a new outcome. In that way, random crits help make TF2 a more dynamic and captivating game, for both players and spectators. Crits create funny moments. At least for me, the humor of someone decimating a scout with a frying pan will never go stale. Crits break up choke points. A choke point is part of a level where players are forced through only one or two narrow paths to proceed. If you're up against a competent defense, it takes a good concentrated effort to push through these areas. If you've got less than stellar teammates though, this can prove to be pretty difficult. In situations like that, a random crit can provide a push for the offensive team that's needed to keep the match moving along so players don't get too bored or frustrated. Crits keep new players hooked. Getting a random crit can keep a new player engaged even if they're not doing that great. For player retention, this does wonders. Crits are an equalizer. Without random crits, a soldier has no cause for alarm upon spotting a spy at close range. But if the spy has a chance to crit him with his revolver, the soldier has reason to be more cautious. Similarly, crits keep highly skilled players on their toes even when fighting newer and less experienced players. Since this disrupts the natural flow of gameplay, some people might see it as a bad thing. That's fair. But it also teaches players to be cautious of any and all enemies, which is a good lesson in a game as confusing as this one. Crits are unique. I can't name another mainstream first-person shooter with a random crit system like TF2's. It has a charm that people are attracted to. That much is evidenced by the fact that they've become a meme and pop culture reference outside the context of the game. Random crits are synonymous with TF2, and taking them away would strip a little bit of the game's character. Crits deter undesirable players. In order to illustrate this point, I'm going to list 3 of the most hated player archetypes. The soldier main, who has his medic friend join games with him and pocket him. The spy main, who abuses console commands and questionably balanced weapons to get unfair kills. And the demo man main, who spawn camps the enemy team with sticky bombs. Why are these types of players so universally despised? It's because they represent someone who is willing to stomp on the joy of others for the sake of marginally improving their own performance or putting bigger numbers on their strange kill count that no one cares about. They're seen as callous, poor sports with a lack of respect for other players. Some people call them tryhards. I'm more partial to just call them scumbags. Random crits not only function as a way to combat these bad actors directly, they also put a check on the very existence of them. Ending some sweaty soldier's 105 kill streak with a frying pan crit puts an end to their reign of terror, sure. But on a grander scale, the goofiness of that scenario also reminds them to loosen up and not place so much emphasis on their performance. Come on man, this is a game that gives you points for throwing milk at people. Crits keep the community talking. The discussion around random crits, the so-called movements to remove or keep them, the Steam discussions and Reddit posts complaining about and defending them, the conversation. Random crits serve as a great way to keep the community invigorated and talkative. And for a game in such a desolate state, the importance of that is something that can't really be overstated. Truthfully, that's the reason that I made this video in the first place. So keep random crits, if nothing else so the community can have something to bicker about. By the way, the thumbnail for this video was created by my good friend Ultronima. If you like what you see, you should go follow him on his Twitter, which is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.